All right, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. I'm here with Joanne Adducci. My name is Kelsey Miles, and we are here to talk about finding your truth.
Amen.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, that's my phone.
Oh,
Everybody, you might want to mute yourself too. Friday. I'm here with Joanne
oh no, that's so
Adduci,
funny.
Kelsey Miles, and we are here to make
Muting,
sure
I'm
that we're
muting.
all muted. Finding your truth.
Amen.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, that's
Got it.
so if anyone missed the intro, we just played it for you 3 times in a row. All right, we're here in the
That
chat
was
with you
fun,
guys.
actually.
That was great. We're here in the chat with you guys. So if you want to say that you are here, we would love to say hi to you in the chat. So yeah, so why don't we kick this off and talk about the song we chose for this week, which, I don't know, I kind of like it.
It's a
I
great
think
song. What do you mean you kind of like it?
it's funny because I wrote it, but yeah, so we chose Horizon. And in the song, in Horizon, I talk about finding your truth. And so the lyrics are listed below in this video, and it says, head to the horizon, find the truth you seek. And those words really stuck with you, Joanne.
Oh yeah. Well, it's so ironic, which there is really no irony, very synchronistic that I love to go to the lake in the morning and watch the sunrise. And so I literally head to the horizon. And one of the things that I do when I'm there is I meditate, I journal, I just take the time to reconnect with myself. And I really feel the energy of what's available to me when I'm there in that quiet space, in that stillness, just surrounded by nature.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you've been doing that for a little while now, right?
I have. Yeah, I started randomly at a different point at a different lake, and then sort of felt like I was trespassing. So I decided to find a different lake where there's a dock, and in the winter they take the docks out when the lake freezes. But right behind a bar here in the Madison area called Christie's Landing, and I've been doing that probably a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, that's so great. So one of the things when I was recording, so I've recorded the song, and it's a song that so every week I'll cover some song, and then we'll talk about it. So
Absolutely.
this is the thing we'll do every Friday, which is cool. So this is the first episode,
I
which
know
is
we're so excited. We're just so excited to be here with everybody.
I know, which is so exciting. And we'll dive into more with that. But one of the things I realized when I was recording this song is it just really hit me in a different way. And so one of the topics that I think will kind of hit throughout our like get-togethers on Fridays is, and we want to include everyone in the conversation here with this, is that how music depending on where in your life you're at, when you listen to the same song, it could mean something different, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that when you can really make the lyrics your own and wrap around your own story and bring them right into your soul, there's a place of peace that you can find because you know you're not alone. You know you're not alone because those lyrics were there and they came for some reason. I love the story of how you wrote Horizon. Will you share a little bit more
Of
about that?
course. Yeah. And I released that video. So if you haven't watched it yet, you can go back on my page and see Horizon, and I talk about it some too. So yeah, let's dive in. Okay, so finding your truth, the whole reason I wrote the song Horizon. So I moved to Wisconsin to 2013, and I was a grad student in chemistry. And shout out to any grad students out there, like it's so many hours. And I, at the time, I actually had just started music. I was burying myself in my work, and I was spending like a ridiculous amount of time in lab, and it was my coping mechanism. And that's why I picked up music actually about 2014, 2015. And then I had just started writing music. And one evening, and I still have it very clear in my mind. One evening, I'm sitting in front of my computer at my desk, and there's about 4 or 5 other my colleagues around. It's later in the evening, 7:30, 8 o'clock, very normal for my office to still be pretty full. And everyone around me was just hunched over their desk, just like rounded shoulders, focused in on this whatever thing that they were working on. And I thought to myself, as I started to kind of explore this other passion of mine, which turned out to be music, it kind of found me as I started to really question, well, what do I want in life and what am I doing? And so Horizon came from that. We're sitting in this office. There's like 4 or 5 of us, and I look over. They're all hunched over, and we're in these things that we called fish bowls because the office had only glass windows. It was like big glass windows. There were no walls. Like you could see us all from the hallway, so our advisors walking by could make sure that we
Oh
were
yeah.
in there.
Look, my students, look how good they are.
We're in the fishbowl. We're goldfish. You see us, you know exactly what we're doing all the time. And I realized that everything that we were doing, and I say we as grad students, were jumping through hoops that someone else set up for us. And if I take that a step further, I thought, okay, someone else told me what I need to do in order to be successful. And then I started to question, well, uh, whose job is it to determine if I'm successful, right? Is that someone else's, that's someone else's thing that they can hold over, over my head. So this whole thing, that my song Horizon stemmed from that moment when I realized that uh, I can be doing more questioning here, and I need to find a place to pause and think about this. And so horizon to me, I really think about like bodies of water, beautiful sunsets, all this stuff. And those are places where I can really relax, pause, and ask myself, what do I want?
Right.
So the lyrics, head to the horizon, find the truth you seek, really came from me exploring this idea that throughout my life I had been told what was successful. And in this moment, I started to ask, what do what is my truth? What do I want?
Right.
What are my hoops? And of course I followed through. I did the hoops, I did the thing, but I could do it in a way that um, knowing that I was being true to myself as I was doing it felt better than just blindly jumping through these hoops.
Yeah.
So
It's so relate to that. And I'm sure that there are a bunch of people that understand trying to meet others' expectations or others' definition of success or how somebody defines perfect. That those are all the things that we all run around and try and say yes to. Yes, yes, let me do this for you. Yes, but we end up leaving
right,
ourselves behind. When we leave ourselves
exactly.
behind, it can really pile on. It can really take its toll until one day when you're like, shit, how do I do that? I need to unravel some of that. And I think that when you listen to the lyrics of Horizon and when you literally are able to find that quiet place and that stillness and really seek your own truth, you find that it's actually seeking you. Like the Rumi quote, what you seek is seeking you.
Hold on, you just dropped a nugget of gold of when you are looking for what you're seeking, right? You actually find that it's seeking you.
Right.
Now, how do you then how do you remain open to that so you could find what's seeking you?
Right. And um that's the trick. I really believe that the first step is understanding whose expectations or definitions of success and perfection you're actually working within first. And so once you're able to have that awareness, it all starts with that level of awareness. You can then redefine what your needs are. And it's okay to have expectations of yourself. I mean, that's how we take action, is by being motivated based on what we want to do. But to have the awareness of where it's originally coming from that doesn't necessarily meet your inner knowing, your inner truth, is the first step. And then you get the fun work of realizing how to stop in those moments and say, I can have boundaries. I can have boundaries. This is okay. And that's, it's this beautiful unraveling and then restitching together what can be.
I love that. So it's almost as if the first step is finding your truth. Well, first step is asking, what do you find in your truth?
Curiosity. Yes.
So I love, yeah. Yeah. This is like my big motto of be bold, be curious, and be yourself.
Be
It is,
you.
and and us coming together to talk about it, I feel like really could only happen once I really started to live what I have been trying to get to. Um,
Isn't
you
it
know,
funny how you find you have be bold, be curious, be you, and you knew at your core that that's what you wanted to share, but it took more steps,
it,
right? It took more steps to really weave in what that looks like. And and that's okay. It's so okay because so many new experiences come into the middle of that and continue to lead you down the path.
absolutely.
Is seeking you.
And it's totally in line with what you just said about, okay, so first we recognize and ask the question. So first we're curious, then we explore, and that's kind of the finding your truth, right? So first you have to
Absolutely.
know that you are interested in looking.
Right, right. Yeah, you need to, oftentimes we ignore that voice in our head that's telling us something that would lead us down the path of finding our own truth because we A, don't have time, B, it's kind of scary, could be hard, and C, you never know what's on the end of that. A lot of people have that fear of the outcome. What if I do set boundaries? Will someone still love me?
Right.
Will they still want to be my friend? And in order to move beyond that, it's all part of finding your truth and having the trust and the confidence. And I believe you've got some other words peppered into Horizon that are, part finding your truth, seeking your truth, right?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, absolutely. So this song, we kind of laughed that there were more. Again, if you haven't listened to the song, it's on the on my YouTube page, and I think I've linked it down below as well. Actually, in the comments, can you let us know if you've listened to this song? Because we would like to. This will happen weekly when we choose a song, and
Oh
we're
yeah.
also very open to what you would like to discuss as well. So in the chat, let us know if you have listened to the song Horizon. It's posted on my page as well. But yeah, so yeah, in this song, we've talked about there's more than just the topic of finding your truth. There's we were listing so many topics that are within this song that we could talk about, including uh, uh, talking about the pause, and pausing and really leaning into pauses so that we can be open to what is seeking us, as you just talked about. Um,
Right.
yeah, and yeah, it's very interesting how, again, I posted this on my Patreon page, and I actually had someone message me about this and say that how much it meant to her now than
Mhm.
it had before and how that changes. So, I would like to talk some about like finding your truth and what that looked like for you.
Oh boy. That is, I love to talk about that actually. And I say, oh boy, because it has been, you know what a cairn is? The rocks, when you layer rocks on top of each other,
Yeah.
it's like what I've built behind me here, the picture behind
Yes.
me. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of how it feels having built what I know is my truth and continuing to build on top of that, laying rocks on top. It's a layered process. That's where the oh boy came from. um, but really, it all started. I started to see signs and have synchronicities just falling in my lap. And I really don't believe in irony. I don't think there is any irony. It's all synchronistic because I believe we're fully supported and divinely guided on our path. And that has been part of me finding my truth to really accept all of the things that have been in my past experiences, the bad, the horrible, the good, all of it has happened to help me get to this point where I can awaken to what my truth is. And for me specifically, I know therapy and coaching that I came into this world with a purpose, that my mom had a specific purpose when she had me. And I was emotionally intelligent enough coming into this world that I became what she needed me to be. I said yes to everything, Kelsey. I mean, everything. And even when it didn't feel right to me, I was saying yes because it was good for her in the moment, in the situation. And I realized over time, she got sick, she passed away. When that happened, it's like she took that piece of me with her. And so for me, it was a dramatic event that actually solidified listening to that higher voice so that I knew something needed to change. And she literally took that piece of me with her because I was so empty in a way that I felt like my soul was dying, like I was dying on the inside. So I needed to find my truth because what I had known my whole life crumbled and went away. And I had no idea what in the heck was in front of me and who I really wanted to be for me. And it was a process, and I go deeper in that healing still to this day. So I talk about awareness being the first key, and knowing something needed to change, and just to be aware of the things that come up. And then I talk about acknowledgement and listening. And what am I listening to? Who am I listening to? And I believe you might talk about that in Horizon with your lyrics. I believe you talk about, who do you believe? Who are you listening to?
Yeah.
And then, the layered steps, I actually go into um oof, trusting and knowing that I'm going to be okay in this process, that people may fall off my truck and new people are jumping on, and they're the right people in the moment, like this, like
Like
meeting you,
this. Meeting you,
right?
we connected at a time when it kind of felt like the universe. I had been getting these little pings from the universe, and Oprah talks about it being this little pebble that just starts to hit you, and then it starts to get louder. And and I've been wanting to do more on YouTube, and I have this idea about sharing more about how music just, I mean, this was why I became a musician, is that I can put um, emotions into songs, and it helps me understand my own emotions. And the only reason I became a musician was then because someone else told me my song helped them understand their emotion.
Wow. The ripple effect.
It really is. And when you and I connected, I just felt like there was a lot of, and you've said it too, there's a lot of synchronicity in what we are both trying to do. And then you love music as just as much as me, and it just all lines up. Um,
It
I have
does.
a question though. I think that both of us had kind of like more major life events. And I didn't go into detail with mine as to even why I really picked up the guitar. Why did I need the coping mechanism of working 80 hours a
I
week?
noticed that you kind of roamed over that.
I jumped over that. And uh, maybe it's a topic for another time, but my thing, I guess my thing is that we both had these events
Hmm.
that forced our hand to figure something out,
Right.
because we realized we were, I'm going to use the word broken. That's what it felt like to me.
That's how I felt.
Things weren't working. um, I could keep going down that path, and I knew I'd be very unhappy. I wouldn't be me. I didn't feel like me.
Yes.
um, and I realized I didn't know who I was, like, even though on the outside, and here's the thing, on the outside you were probably to some people just fine.
Yeah, I had very many people say things to me that led me to believe maybe I hadn't done a good job at letting them really in. Like they thought they knew me, and I was wearing a mask because I could have
Oh
won
my God,
An Oscar or an Academy. Which one would it be? I think both. I don't know.
all the awards. That is so interesting.
Yeah,
I find, yeah, and I love the idea, yeah, wearing a mask. And many of us, I think almost everyone wears a mask. And there's reasons to have them, but
sure.
you
I
can
call
get,
that appropriately you now. Like be appropriately yourself.
yeah.
I in finding my truth, I started to tattoo my body with my journey because it's fun and I love that. And I have bracelets that remind me. And someone at work one day said, "That's a lot of bracelets, Joe." And I said, "Yeah, they all have a meaning. Do you want to know what that is?" I just shut him down because I'm like, "You're not going to go judging me for wearing all my bracelets because they help me with who I am." you know?
Right. No, I love that. And yeah, the wearing the mask thing. I mean, the whole thing. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is that both of us were, kind of broken. We knew we needed a change. Like, what if someone's like, I don't know if that's the case for everyone.
No.
Like, why, if is it only if you're pushed to an extreme like we have been that happens?
Oh, that's such a great question. And I will tell you, it is often a time of life where significant changes are happening anyway. It might not be dramatic like my mom passing or your situation, but it could be where change is happening and you don't feel connected to yourself anymore. And that's when listening really comes into play because the thoughts we have, they are our higher self. So it's not, you're not crazy thinking, hearing things. They're your soul knocking on the door, like, listen to me. And so it could just be change that's coming up based on whatever situation or experiences are in front of that person. It doesn't have to be a really dramatic, hardcore event.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, Kelsey, one thing that keeps popping into my head. How old were you when this happened to you? And I'm going to share how old I was because it doesn't even matter how old you are. It can happen at any point in time. So how old were you?
Yeah, so I was let's see, I was math is so hard. No, because I would have been 2015 or 16 when I wrote this. So yeah, so I would have been around 25 when I really started to realize. I was around 24, 25 when I really I had gone through a really major life change, and I got rid of a really toxic relationship. And that's part of why I was coping and working to cope. And therapy helped me some.
Mhm.
But then I moved to
Yeah,
Wisconsin to escape that relationship. And it was under the guise of just moving
for
research groups.
school. Yeah.
I had a pretty strong mask. And I had a strong mask of being a chemist. And then I realized I was working 80 hours a week and that was just going to keep going. I was successful in the eyes of the people I was around, but I knew that's something was missing. Picked up the guitar. And then, yeah, probably around 24, 25 was really when I realized that, like, okay, something's wrong and I am actively going to figure this out. I
Yeah.
had no idea I'd become a full-time musician, got my PhD, full-time musician, then COVID hit. But anyway, really,
Two more Fridays.
yeah, around 24, 25 was really
Wow.
when I feel like, and I'll tell you this, so I'm almost 33, and I feel like I'm still in the beginning of all that big transformation, and I'm a completely different person than I was when I was at 23.
Yeah.
Complete, like 10 years ago, completely different.
Isn't that amazing? I know. Don't you look back on that? And I mean, it's so much gratitude for how
Yeah.
far you've come.
I was
Yeah.
so I was so weak. I really wasn't, yeah, I wasn't as bold as I am now.
Right, right. And what I love about that, and you said it when we were talking about birthing this child of ours, this Friday go live experience, that you really appreciate our age difference. And, I felt the knocking on my door, the soul knocking, for probably 10 years before I understood what it was. And I've always had these little visions of things in my mind's eye, but I never really knew what they were. And so I did the thing. I said yes to everybody. And then I was 46 when my mom, when everything started to crack open. And I think I was 47 when she passed. Yeah. But I mean, I'm 51 going almost on 52, but we'll go there. And it's never too late. I think that's the most exciting piece. It doesn't, age and wisdom are not a thing that intertwines together. It's actually experience and wisdom, I think. Now, age matters because the more age you have, the more experiences you have, but you can have a whole ton of experience by the time you're 23 and start to unravel. So, yeah, it's never too late to really find your truth and listen to what's going on. Yeah.
Listen, I love that. I love that. Well, in the comments, let us know if this is sparking any interest or any thoughts on your end about finding your truth. And I thought we could also talk briefly about like once you find it, there's this idea about speaking your truth.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think for me, I had, and I'm still going through it. I mean, I don't think it ever ends, of when for me, I have to go to almost extremes to find the edges of the boundaries of things in order for
Mhm.
me to figure out where I'm like most comfortable and confident in the middle. And so when I talk about speaking my truth, I've had to really explore to really find my voice on what I really in my heart believe to be true and what are my priorities and what's important to me. Um, and so it kind of flows from a place of like fundamentally, this is how I feel and what's a priority of mine. Then it just flows freely.
Right.
But for a little bit, I felt like I had to speak my truth, but I was searching for where the boundaries were.
Yeah,
So
kind of dancing around that. So when you talk about those boundaries, something comes up for me. I'm wondering what lives inside of the boundaries is, where there's there's a specific word I'm looking for you to say, of course, that lives inside of those boundaries, though, that would prevent you from speaking your truth, even though
fear,
fear. Exactly. That's
fear,
exactly it. Yes.
fear.
Yes. And I think fear is such a relevant and prevalent emotion and state of being that we live in. And that fear comes from all the limiting beliefs, all the crap and the everyone else's expectations and the fear of the outcome. And when you're able to wrap your arms around dropping that fear, speaking your truth becomes is something so authentic. It comes from a place of love.
Oh, I love this. So, but fear also can affect your ability to find your truth.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely it can because you're not you fear of the outcome. Like fear of the expectation that you're going to drop for someone else and fear of the outcome, how I had mentioned, will people still love me? Will they still want to be my friend? And at some point there comes a time when you realize that you're more important to yourself in that place than that fear is, that you have to come first, that you have to find your truth.
Oh, I love
So
that so much. I love that so much. Wow. That's so cool. So finding your truth, it all starts with awareness, right?
mhm,
And
absolutely.
sometimes we get forced into having to be aware because something gets broken. Something breaks.
Something breaks.
Um, but I challenge everyone who doesn't have something broken, maybe try to like look into it before it breaks because like
Exactly.
it sucks when it breaks.
Oh, you just said something so beautiful, Kelsey. I think that for you and I coming together to do this that's exactly the reason. That if we can help anybody have that awareness and not wait until that dramatic event, that traumatic event, and they can start to find their truth and do it from a really solid place of love and joy instead of holy shit, now what do I do? Oh, excuse me. I
Well,
think that's so important. And I know that that's my mission in life. And I know that that's
wow.
yours.
That hit me so hard. I'm tearing up right now, thinking of the moments when I was really broken. Fear paralyzed me for years. Inga said fear paralyzed her for years.
Hi, Inga.
Hi,
Yeah,
Inga. Yeah, you know, it's
right.
hearing you say those words about hoping that people can embark on this before it breaks, do it before it breaks, really actually kind of brought me back to moments. and very visual moments for me when I like was very broken, and it was a very internal process because I had a really good mask on the outside.
Yeah.
So people didn't know. Not everyone knew how broken I really was.
Right.
Um, and, and this is why I wrote the song Horizon, because I knew that I was jumping through the hoops that someone else made. Um, and I was still broken though. So I needed to take the pause and think about it.
Yeah.
Lisa goes, finding your voice, your truth. Love it.
Oh, it's so true. I love it.
I
Thanks,
this
Lisa.
this theme of this whole thought process of trying to reach people before they get broken like us.
Yeah, I know. Broken like us, right? Because then look, yeah.
It sucks if that happens.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun though. It is, it truly becomes an act of love for yourself. And I think that from a spiritual standpoint, as we're moving into a new dimension, we need more people to follow the light, to love themselves and be light so that the generations to come can go through better experiences and not carry our trauma with them into the world. And I really believe that deep in my soul, that as we do this and as we heal ourselves, we heal the world, and that lets generations come into this world with more light and more enlightenment. So
I
yeah,
love
it's a beautiful thing
I love that.
before the thing happens.
Before anything happens. And if it
Mm,
does, we're here
yeah,
because things have happened to us. I love it. Well,
absolutely.
this is
So
great.
it's been so much fun. I think that next week, we're talking about not going at it alone, right?
Asking for
Through,
help.
yeah, asking for help,
Asking
asking for
for
help.
help.
Hmm.
Asking for help. And when you do that, yeah, that I can't wait to talk about this topic. And we can always circle back to Horizon because I think there's more things we can dive into here.
Oh yeah,
And I love that today we
absolutely.
talked about, yeah, finding your truth,
Absolutely.
speaking your truth, and not allowing fear to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'm going to just say one more thing too, Kelsey, because I realized at the beginning we didn't really introduce ourselves. I mean, people in
yeah,
your channel know, they know you.
yeah,
And,
yeah, please.
but one of the things that came for me with finding my truth was stepping away from a career that just was so beautiful and wonderful for me. But I really feel like it is part of my truth to get into mentoring and coaching people so that they can find their own truth and really create the life that they've always wanted. And so, what I love about doing this with you is that you bring the element. The music and the healing element of music is so important to so many people that you bring that right up front and in their face. And it's just, I couldn't be more blessed to be doing this with you, I guess is my point.
Oh,
So
I feel the same. So check out Joanne's website and connect with her there, joanneadducci.com, right?
that's right.
It's listed below in this video here. Yeah, and this is why I really wanted to work with you and talk with you weekly because I knew people on my channel and people I know, are gonna gain benefits from it from this as well because we all have shared this connection over music and how it really feeds our soul. And this is really in line with where I'm working towards in my own music and what new songs I'm coming up with
Yeah.
now.
It's so
So
perfect, right?
it really
So
is.
perfect.
It really
Yep.
is.
And when 6 years ago, when I told the universe I needed more music in my life, I had no idea that this is what, you know, would be in front of me. You and your
Yes.
beautiful sounds. And oh my goodness. Thank
Yes.
you.
And I love this. So this is super new, everyone. This is our first
Yep.
episode. We're going to do this every
Yay.
Friday. We have some topics picked out, but we really want feedback from you of what you want us to talk about. And if you have songs that really hit you in a certain way, we want to know because not only will I record a cover of it and like tell you what it's bubbling up in me, I'll share that. I'll share them on usually Wednesdays. I'll share them on my channel, and then Tuesday or Wednesdays, and then on Friday, Joanne and I will get together and we'll talk about a specific topic within that song. And so
Right.
we are really here to also we're here to like feed your souls too. So there's this like this cover song you just love, and you
Yeah.
want me to sing it. We'll do that. And Lisa says, yes, I've been on this journey for quite some time. This is my last mile to healing what no longer serves me. I love that comment,
Yes.
Lisa. What no longer serves me. It's you are holding the power when you say that. You say
Mhm.
it served me at some point in time, but no longer. Oh,
Right. Yeah. Wow. I know. What a, that's, yeah. Amen.
amen. So anyway, in the comments, let us know what you want to hear next week. But or in future weeks. Next week we're gonna do. You want to do Bill Withers?
Yes. We're doing Lean on Me.
Lean on me
Oh,
when
sing
you're
it. Come on.
strong. I'll be your friend. We're gonna talk about asking for
Oh,
help.
stop. No, sorry.
We're gonna talk about asking for help, and we're gonna talk about what it means when you do, because we've talked about how um, sometimes we forget when we ask for help. Actually, the other person might feed them
Right.
to help, and they want to.
Right. Absolutely. Oh yeah, that's such a beautiful piece to the puzzle is the giving back and the receiving. And it's like the infinity symbol, right? What goes and around comes back around. It's such a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, we'll see everyone back here at 11:45 a.m.
Emily, you got it. Yes.
next Friday. Yeah. So
Thanks everybody for being here with us.
thank you for being
The
here.
interaction.
This
Mhm.
was a great interaction.
What a great start, Kelsey.
Yes, same to
Yeah,
you, Joanne. This was awesome. This was awesome.
so much
All right,
fun.
well, I'm going to end the live stream here, and I hope to see you all. We hope to see you all next Friday, and definitely get in contact with both of us on our websites.
Yep.
They're listed below, and we would love to hear from you and what you want to hear in future weeks. We're going to be doing this every Friday, and you can also check out the song we talked about today, Horizon. New music and a new topic every week. All
Right.
right. Have
Bye,
a good day, you
everybody.
guys.
Have a good weekend.